Okay, now let's begin with this chapter number 8, that is more on CSS3. So the first thing that I would like to tell you is a cascading style sheet makes it easier to enhance the look of different tags which you use in your HTML document, right? That's what the work of cascading style is, and that's why we use cascading styles for cascading style sheets for importing styles in our web document and enhancing the features of the tags we use for creating a particular web document, your web page. It defines a structure and way of presentation for the website. These two lines are given in the on page number 110, right on the top in the first paragraph. So it will be great if you can underline those two lines because you have to learn them by heart. In case अगर cascading style sheets की definition लिखने को आती है, so you guys can write these two lines as an answer of the same. A cascading style sheet makes it easier to enhance the look of the different elements on a web page. It defines the structure and way of presentation for the website. These are the two lines that you have to underline. Are you guys done with underlining these two lines, which are given in the first paragraph or which is there
Yes,
on page number
sir.
110? Great. Take your time, no problem. Take your time. By the time, let me just write down this basic structure of HTML over here on this notepad. And I'm saving this document with a name, with a unique name on my desktop. And let's give it this name, more on CSS3. Okay, this is the name. Namaste beta, namaste.
Namaste, sir.
So, namaste beta. Those who have joined late, we guys are on page number 110, and we have started a new chapter, which is chapter 8, more on CSS3. So you guys can open page number 110. Okay, and the first topic which is given on that page is inline style. So as you already know, we have already discussed it many times that if we want to import cascading style sheets in our web page, so there are three methods we can follow. The first one is inline, the second one is internal, and the third one is external. Okay, so here inline style method have been explained using an example which is given on this page. So let's make use of this inline style method. The text which is written over here is a simple HR tag without style rules. A simple HR tag without style rules. This is the first line, and what is the second line? The declaration has to be repeated again to apply the sequence. Okay. The declaration has to be repeated again for dot dot dot. Okay, so these are the two lines which I have written over here in this body part of this web page. Now, if suppose I want to define a line in between these two uh, texts, so how can I do that? And if I want to define a ruler line in between these two line of text, so what I can do, I can make use of which tag? Which tag do we
HR
require?
tag.
HR tag. That is absolutely right. So if I will put HR in between these two lines of text, what is the kind of output I'm going to get on my web page? That's what we are going to check now. So for that, we need to double click and open this web page on the browser. And this is the kind of output which you're going to get on the web page. So this is the first line of text which you're seeing over here. This is the second line of text, and there is a ruler line in between these two lines of text. Now let's try and enhance the features or properties of this HR tab. So for that, let's make you see if suppose you're using inline method. So we need to write down style first. Okay, and after that, if suppose you want to play with the width and height of this what we call HR tag. So for that, this is a property that you need to change the value of width equal to, suppose you want to keep the width 50%, fine. And after that, if you want to play with height property of this HR tag, what you have to do, you have to place a semicolon first, give a space, and then height is equals to let's say 70%, fine. uh, and enclose this whole thing. You need to enclose this whole value. You need to put this in between the double inverted commas. You have to remember this thing. Fine. When you're passing values for this style tag of to enhance the features of this HR tag, you need to put the whole value which you have passed over here for this style tag in between the double inverted commas. Remember this thing. Let's now check out what are we going to get as an output over here on this web page. We are not able to see any kind of changes. Why is it
Sir,
so?
because you have not put a colon after width and height. You have put
Oh, sorry,
equals
sorry.
to.
That is absolutely right. For
Yes,
passing
sir.
the value for the properties, we need to make use of colon. That is absolutely right. So, this is the kind of output which you are going to get. Fine. Now let's reduce this width. If we'll make it 5%, what is going to happen? So you're going to get an output like this. Fine. Let's now make this height as 100% and width also
Sir, is
Sir,
the
100%.
0% in
You
height?
have written 0%.
Sorry. Fine. Let's now check out what is the kind of output we are going to get. So it's like a box that we are able to see in between these two lines of text, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's now remove this hide property from here and see what are we going to get if we'll pass this. So this is the, this width is actually controlling the length of this ruler line which you are seeing over here. If we'll change it to 50%, so this is the kind of output that you are going to get. Fine. Now if suppose, let's make it 100 only. And now, if suppose you want to change the background color of this line, what you can do, we can make use of background color property, and let's pass this value green. So are you able to see here that the color of the line has now become
Yes,
green?
sir.
It's green. It's right now green in color. It's now in
Yes,
green color.
sir.
So that's how you can change the background color of the line which we have got in between these lines of text. Now let's talk about text properties. So the first property that they have mentioned over here is text align, and we can use this property. This property is generally applied to a block of text which we define using tags like h1, p, etc. Let's do one thing. Let's remove this thing from here. Let's put this text in between h1 tag. Okay, I'm putting this line of text in between the h1 tags, and let's check out the output, the kind of output we are going to get on this web page. So this is what these lines of codes are going to produce. This is the kind of output which you're going to see from, these lines of codes are going to produce on this web page. Fine. So why this font has got changed? Just because we have used this h1 header tag right now for defining these lines, this line of code. Okay, this line of text. That is the reason there is a change which you are able to see in the font size as well as font style. Now, if suppose you want to align, you want to see it in the center of this page, how can you do that? So for doing that, you can make use of, there is a property called text align. Okay, and let's pass a value for this text align. Let's pass center as a value for this text align property. Are you all able to see the changes over here?
Yes, sir.
So what I have done, I have made use of this text align property. Okay, and how I have called this property from the style sheet, from the cascading style sheets, using this style tag, I have called this property on this web page. And what is the value I have passed for this property? This is a value which I have passed for this property. Are you all getting my point or not? Is there any
Yes,
confusion? Is there anything which you are
sir.
not
No
able to understand?
confusion.
पक्का बेटा देख लो एक बारी और. Now let's do one thing. Let's change it to right. If suppose you want to see the text in the right side of the window, so let's pass this value right for this property text align. So this is what you're going to get as an output. Now the text has got shifted to the right side of the window. Fine. And if you want to bring it in the left side, then instead of right, you can replace this right with left. Automatically, it is going to come on the left side of the window. So that's how you can play with this text align property of this h1 tag. Now let's come on this second property, which is given on page number 111. The name of that property is text decoration. So what is
Sir,
given
I
in
want
your
to
book? This
ask one
property
thing.
specifies the decoration that can be applied to the text in a block. Okay. Now, if suppose you want to underline this line of text which you have got on this web page, or if you want to overline, if you want to put an overline on this page, on this text, so you can make use of text decoration property. Let me just show it to you practically. So instead of this text align, now we will be using text decoration. Can anyone tell me which style are we using, which method are we using for applying cascading style sheets, applying styles of cascading style sheets on this h1 tag? Which method are we using right now?
Inline style?
That is absolutely right. It is inline style. Internal कौन सा होता है? When we write down like this in between the head tag, if we'll write down like this, okay, and for applying these changes on this particular attribute of or enhancing the properties of this particular tag, if we define the tag like a selector here in between these style tags, तब वो क्या कहलाता है? हमारा inline कहलाता है. Remember this thing. Okay, sorry, तब वो क्या कहलाता है? हमारा internal कहलाता है. Okay, let me just remove this thing from here. Now let's come back on this topic, text decoration. So what are the different values we can pass for this property text decoration? The first one is underline. Okay, first one is underline.
The decoration spelling is wrong.
Decorations, okay, there should be a also na, in between this r and t, no problem.
Sir,
Why you
underline
guys
spelling is
अच्छा
also
underline
wrong.
की spell. चलो, are you all able to see the changes now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
There is a
sir.
line just below that line of text. Now let's pass the second value, which is overline. Let's replace this underline with overline. All these values that I am writing over here now for this text decoration, other properties, they are given in your book. What you guys can do, you guys can write down this line the way I have written over here now, how I am using these properties in the web document. These lines you can write down in your book if you want, but I will be, uploading this video also on my channel, so in case you do not want to, then also no problem. So this is what you're going to get as an output. Now you will get to see the line above the line of text which you have written on your text on this web page. What is the third property? What is the third value? Line through. Line through. Fine. So these are the, when you will pass the values, if you are passing the values correctly, you will be able to see the changes. Okay. Now let's come on this third property, which is color. So this property helps in setting the color of the text. Okay. So if suppose you want to change the color of this text, which you have got inside this h1 tags, you need to make use of this property called color. Let's pass a value, let's pass red as a value for this property color and check out the changes. So now the color of the text has got changed from black to red. So that's how you can change the value of the color of the text. What is the fourth property? It is text transform. If you want to transform this text, if you want to transform the text into capitalized form or uppercase letters or lowercase letters, you can make use of this text transform property. Let me just show it to you practically how it is going to affect the line of text which we have got in between this h1 tag. Text transform. So this is a property which we are using right now, and the first value which is given in your book is capitalized. So this is the first value. Let's now save the changes and check out what we are going to get as an output on this web page. What is the change you guys have noticed? Can anyone tell me what is the change?
Sir,
Sir,
can you tell?
each
Yes, who's this?
Sir,
sir, may I
Anil.
tell? Anshika.
Sir, may
कोई
I
भी
tell?
बोलो हाँ बोलो, कोई भी बोलो, दोनों में से कोई आप बोलो पहले.
So first letter of all the words are capital.
Are in capitals right now. ठीक है? So this is what this value is going to change in this text that we have defined over here in between this h1 tags. Fine. Now if suppose you want to see everything in capital, so what you can do, you can make use of this value called uppercase. Let's check out the changes. So now every letter of every word will be in capital.
Okay, sir.
Similarly, if you want to see it in lowercase, you can pass this value lowercase for this attribute text transform, and everything will be in lowercase now. Fine. Let's talk about this text shadow property. So I'm changing this transform to shadow. Now, how are we going to pass the value for this text shadow property? So there are three things for which we need to pass the value. One is H shadow, that is horizontal shadow. One is V dash shadow, that is vertical shadow. And the third one is for color. It is given in your book. If you will check out on page number 111, under that heading text shadow, you will be able to see all the three things for which you need to pass the value for this text shadow property. So one is H shadow, one is V shadow, one is color. So let's pass the value over here. Now, how are we going to pass the value? We need to pass it in the form. You can pass it using percentage sign, or you can pass it using px. Px stands for pixels. Remember this thing. So I'm passing this using pixels. So this is the value which I have passed for H shadow. H shadow specifies the distance of horizontal shadow. This is for V shadow. V shadow specifies the distance for vertical shadow. Okay, and This is for the color. Let's now check out what is going to happen to this text. Are you all able to see some shadow kind of thing below this text that we have got on this web page?
Yes, sir.
सब
Yes.
लोगों को
Yes,
दिख रहा है?
sir.
Yes,
ठीक है.
sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Now,
Sir.
now I'm going to change the values which I've passed over here. That is how you need to code. You need to learn coding. If suppose we'll replace 2 px with 20 px. Now, what is the value that we have changed? We have changed the value for this h shadow property. ये तो कुछ हुआ ही नहीं इसमें ऐसे. दिखा कोई चेंज दिखा आप लोगों को?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Change it
हॉरिजॉन्टली
now.
Sir, yes.
हॉरिजॉन्टली वो थोड़ा सा लेफ्ट राइट की तरफ चलेगी. ठीक है, अगर मैं इसको 120 कर दूंगा, so the text has got shifted. It is shifting towards the right side. Okay, let's now
Yes.
make it 200 2000. भी दिख ही नहीं रहा हो. If we'll make it 200, थोड़ा और राइट की तरफ चला गया. If we'll make it 500, अब ये जो आप ये रेड कलर में देख रहे हो, इट इज अ शैडो ऑफ दिस लाइन ऑफ टेक्स्ट. ठीक है. And if you now want to bring it back, you can again pass a value like 2px or something, and this will again come back and it is going to get reflected just below the line of text we have got on this web page. Fine. Similarly, the same changes you will get to see when you will change the value of this vertical shadow. 500 ज्यादा हो गया शायद. 100 px में क्या होगा? अभी दिख रहा है वर्टिकली ये नीचे शिफ्ट हो गया, क्योंकि वर्टिकली ऐसे होता है, हॉरिजॉन्टली ऐसे होता है. सो इफ यू विल इंक्रीज द वैल्यू ऑफ एच शेडो, व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हैपन? द टेक्स्ट इज गोइंग टू मूव टुवर्ड्स द इट इज गोइंग टू शिफ्ट टुवर्ड्स द राइट साइड ऑफ द विंडो. The shadow is going to shift towards the right side of the window. And if you will increase the value of vertical shadow, automatically it is going to come down. Let's now make it 50. So here it is going to get reflected. If you want to see the changes, if you want to change the color of this shadow, you can make it like this. Okay. So this is what text shadow helps us to do. Now let's talk about this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 property, that is text indent. You need to come on page number 112 for that. So the code for that text indent property, it is written on 112. And what is the value that we can pass for this text indent property? Length in pixel or percentage. It is given on page number 112 that if you want to pass the value for text indent, you need to pass it in using px. In px you need to pass it, or in percentage you need to pass it. Let's make use of px for now. So text indent, what is the value that I've passed for this property text indent? 50 px. So this is what you're going to see as a result on this web page. Now the this what we call text is has shifted towards right side. If you will pass 100, did you all notice the changes? It is shifting towards the
Yes.
right side. The
Yes.
way we guys were shifting the shadow earlier, in the same way if you want to shift the text that we have got on this web page, so we guys can make use of text indent. ये actually indentation के काम आता है. ठीक है, जैसे आप सॉरी लेटर लिखते वक्त लेफ्ट इंडेंटेशन का यूज करते हो. सारी चीज, कोई भी नया पैराग्राफ आप यूज बिगिन कर रहे हो, सो यू बिगिन इट विद फ्रॉम द लेफ्ट साइड. ठीक है, और सारी की सारी चीजें आपकी एक लाइन में आती है, तो उसके लिए ये जनरली काम में आ जाता है टेक्स्ट इंडेंट प्रॉपर्टी. नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट वर्ड ब्रेक. You do one thing, you guys can cut this property word break. ये कुछ ज्यादा काम की नहीं है, आप इसे word break को कट कर दीजिए, which is there given on page number 112. word break को आप लोग कट कर दो. ठीक है, एक लास्ट प्रॉपर्टी जो आपकी बची है वो है लाइन हाइट. लेट्स चेंज दिस टू लाइन height, and we can pass the value now in numbers, length, percentage, or normally we can pass the value for this thing. So if we'll pass 100, what is going to happen to the text we have defined over here? कुछ नहीं हुआ, ऐसा क्यों हो गया? 10px के लिए this is the kind of output we are going to get on the web page, and if we'll change it to 50px, so this is what going to happen to your text. If we'll pass 80px, sorry, 80px, कोई बता सकता है हो क्या रहा है?
सर जो वर्ड है वो ऊपर और नीचे हो रहे हैं।
सर
हेलो,
इसका सर वो वर्ड हाइट होते जा रहा है धीरे धीरे।
हाँ बेटा, एक्चुअली ये ऊपर की तरफ
Sir,
शिफ्ट हो रहा है.
sir, I have a doubt.
Yes dear.
सर लाइन हाइट से तो जो लाइन हो रही है वो ऊपर जा रही है, लेकिन अगर हमें उसे नीचे लाना है तो हम कर सकते हैं.
हाँ, you can pass a greater value, ना. If suppose at for 120px you're getting the line here, and if you want it here, ठीक है, थोड़ा सा और नीचे चाहिए आप, what you can do, you can change it to 150. That's what I'm doing, ना. देखो, आप इसको
ओके
200 करोगे तो क्या आएगा हमारे पास, तो थोड़ा और नीचे हो जाएगा. ठीक है, now let's do one thing, let's copy this and paste it here, and now let's see the changes what it is going to give us as an output. तो ये हमें हमारे पास ना ये जो लाइन है, दिस लाइन ऑफ टेक्स्ट, अब इसकी जो हाइट हो गई ना, ये देख रहे हो यहाँ से लेके यहाँ तक की हाइट है इसकी. तो दिस इज 200px. इस लाइन, इसकी हाइट कितनी है? इसकी हाइट यहाँ से लेके जहां से ब्लू पोर्शन स्टार्ट हो रहा है ना, यहाँ तक है, जहां पर ब्लू पोर्शन एंड हो रहा है हमारा, टॉप से लेके बॉटम में. देखो आप लोग, अगर if suppose I'll change it to 120px, अब पहले वाले का क्या होगा? अब पहले वाले की हाइट कम हो गई ना, ये देखो आप, ये वाला ब्लू पोर्शन कम हो गया ना, इसकी जो ब्लू पोर्शन की हाइट है वो कम हो गई. यहाँ पर इसकी हाइट 200px है. तो ये ना एक तरीके से गैप दे देगा आपके टेक्स्ट के बीच में. This is the first line of text and this is the second line of text. If you want to increase the gap in between these two lines of text, na, you can play with this line height property. You can change the value of this line height property for getting the desired result. See, अभी क्या होगा, ये थोड़ा और नीचे आ जाएगा. क्यों आ गया नीचे? क्योंकि इसकी हाइट देखो बढ़ गई. रणवीर, you are getting the point what I'm trying to make you understand here.
यस सर।
ठीक है, तो ये लाइन हाइट का ये मतलब होता है कि एक लाइन की हाइट कितनी होनी चाहिए, और उसके बाद अगर मान लो आप इसकी लाइन हाइट हटा देते हो यहाँ से, इसकी मैं लाइन हाइट हटा रहा हूँ यहाँ से. ठीक है, नाउ व्हाट इज द लाइन हाइट ऑफ दिस लाइन ऑफ टेक्स्ट? इसकी यहाँ तक है, तो ये जो टेक्स्ट है ना, नेक्स्ट लाइन इसके जस्ट बिलो आ जाएगी. देखना भी, लेट मी जस्ट सेव द चेंजेस हियर. सी, अभी इसके ठीक नीचे आ गई है, आ गई ना इसके ठीक नीचे. अगर मैं इसको H1 से भी हटा दूंगा ना, सिंपल लाइन ऑफ टेक्स्ट कर दूंगा इसको इस तरीके से, तो अब देखना और ये पास आ जाएगी. तो ये चीजें होती है हमारी लाइन ऑफ टेक्स्ट में, लाइन हाइट में, सॉरी. So we are done with covering all the text properties which are given in your book of this chapter.